Hello, and thank you for joining us for this Focus on Demand session. Today's presenter is Carla Hurtado. Carla Hurtado is an 18-year veteran in the hair replacement industry with a deep understanding of how thinning or hair loss impacts the lives of men and women. On her path of becoming a trichologist, Carla is a certified hair practitioner with IAT. She leads the Head First Trichologist program. Thank you, Carla, for joining us today.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you very much, Kayla, for that introduction. I like to thank the focus group and the EW conference and obviously the audience for the opportunity to Hair Visions and for me to present to you guys. Since I've been in the hair replacement industry for over 20 years now, it's actually my passion and my path has been in helping men and women to gain confidence by making them their appearance better for them. So in this presentation, myth about hair loss, I would like to tell you first of all kind of my background. And like Kayla said in my introduction, I've been in the hair replacement industry for over 18 years, and I started in the hair club for men and women back in the day, and that's where I was trained, and that's where I actually fell in love with the industry. But the training was basically hair loss is hair loss. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's the same. Hair loss is the same among men and women. And for many, many years, that's how I treated it, and that's what I believed. And it's not until later in my career when I realized that is not the case. I was invited to the International Association of Trichologists in San Antonio, Texas, about 4 or 5 years ago, and that's where I learned that there is so much more that actually hair loss in many cases could be preventive, and in almost every case it could be delayed when it's hereditary. We're going to go over that. So but it could be preventive, not every time, but there's so much that we don't know, and this is the reason why I wanna educate people on how to take care of the scalp now that I've learned how important it is to take care of the scalp and not only the hair. For many years we've been focused only on the hair. Let's make it shiny, let's make it grow, let's make it always beautiful, right? But we don't take care of the scalp, and without a healthy scalp it is very difficult to have healthy hair. Just like if we don't have healthy gums, we are not going to have healthy teeth. So that's pretty much the idea behind the taking care of the scalp. Another way to understand this is like our hair, our skin doesn't end here, right? We wash our faces every single day. I hope we do anyway, because we need to take care of our skin, but our skin does not end here. So we need to take care of the scalp. So saying that, the my goal, okay, is to educate people on taking care of their scalp, taking care of their hair, because like I said, in many cases we can prevent hair loss. My idea to do it here to you guys, to the EW audience, is because we have been members of the EW for few years now. We have been a part of helping you to grow your business and to give another area or another product for you to tap in and to help women that are going through chemotherapy, for example, and to make them feel a little better while they're going through what they're going through. And if they feel better, if they look better, they will feel better. It is part of their recovery. So let's begin with my presentation. So the agenda obviously was the introduction, and I want to, for those that don't know, let me see here. Okay, for those that don't know Hair Visions, we are in Fort Lauderdale. We are a hair replacement wholesaler. So we have many brands. We have the On Right brand, we have the Gem Dress brand, we have the Ultra Dress brand, we have the Dressalore brand, and now we are the distributor of the Capilia Trichology brand in the United States. My name is Carla Hurtado. I'm Business Development Manager for Hair Visions International, and in here is my phone number and my extension. Like I said before, I went about 4 or 5 years ago, I went to the International Association of Trichologists, and that's where I learned that there is definitely a demand and like the demographics have changed. Before, we wanted instant ratification. Our demands for instant ratification was there. We wanted it now. Today, we've changed. Our society have changed, and we actually now are reading labels. We want to know what is it that we're eating, what is in this bag of food that I'm taking. We're worried about GMOs. So this is the time for us to realize is that we need to take care of ourselves, of our body. Obviously, our hair is part of that. And in trichology, we learn that the hair talks. Okay, if there is something going on within our bodies, the first ones to feel something will be the follicles, because they are directly attached to our blood vessels, and they're really tiny, very sensitive, but very tiny organs. And our hair, when it's brittle, when it's dry, when it starts to fall and it starts to shed more than normal, then there's something going on in our body that we need to pay attention to. So that is part of my mission here, is to educate you and on this matter, and to maybe help you make some changes in your business and bring some of this product in to your business as the same way that you have in the past with our wigs. Okay. So let's talk about what is trichology. Trichology is a holistic science. It comes from the Greek word trichos, which means hair, and logos is the study. So it's the study of the hair, okay? It's a science that wants to focus on the skin of the scalp, obviously, and the hair. Okay, I'm gonna move this a little bit around. Okay. The first trichology institute or clinic was founded in 1904 in England, and from there it's been very popular in Asia and in Europe, not so much in the United States yet. However, it's taken off. because again, our mindset have changed to now, okay, I want to take care of my body in a holistic way. And so there's a lot of trichologists out there now. Thank God, they're spreading the word of taking care of the scalp. Again, the hair is talking. We want to take care of the scalp in order to have beautiful hair, and also we need to make sure that we are balanced with our vitamins, with our minerals, hormonals, all that. And in this presentation, you would learn a little bit what is it that I'm talking about. Okay, so let's talk about hair. What is hair? So basically, the hair that you have is made out of dead cells. Okay. However, that doesn't mean that that is not even receiving nutrients still, because it's growing out of our follicles right here. Okay, it's growing out of the follicle, and it will receive, is attached to the blood vessels and the capillaries. So each hair follicle uh, from where the hair is produced passes through a cycle of growth and degeneration, and then replacement, like the cycle of life. And we're going to go over that. But so like I said before, the hair is in the tiny little organ that is the follicle, and it's attached to the blood vessels. So everything that is in our blood circulation, it will go over the follicle. Of course, we have the sweat glands and the sebaceous glands. The sebaceous glands are a very key part of our hair growth and our hair loss. The sebaceous glands are the ones that are actually lubricate the hair. So sebum is like an oil, and it lubricates the hair in order to grow. Sometimes we have an overactive sebaceous glands that so it produces a lot of sebum. So that's when we have oily scalp, or we have an not overactive sebaceous glands that actually needs to start working a little, because they're stopped and they're not producing sebum. So we have what we call the dry scalp. We're going to go over that as well. All right, now let's talk about the hair growth and the life cycle. Now, I realize that you probably have questions, and I'm not obviously able to answer the questions on this presentation, but you have my contact information there. Just you can email me or give me a call. I'm happy to help. Okay, so let's talk about the hair growth and the life cycle of the hair. So we have what we call the anagen phase. Okay, we have the catagen phase and we have the telogen phase. So in the anagen's hair, or the anagen phase, there is some discrepancy on different trichologists. I've heard say is that yes, it lasts from 4 to 10 years. Some say it lasts from 3 to 6 years. Regardless of that, it's the growing phase. Okay, the hair is attached to the blood vessels, and the hair is growing. Okay. Then it goes to at catagen phase. Well, it gets older and we need to grow another hair. So this one goes into catagen phase. It lasts 2 to 3 weeks. Is when the hair is disattaching from the follicle, and it goes into what we call the telogen hair. The telogen hair is actually when we start shedding hair. Now, when it's on telogen, that hair needs to go, okay? So don't worry about shedding hair. It's not attached to anything, okay? It's disconnected from the follicle, and there's actually another little hair growing in there that needs the path that this telogen is occupying right now. So we need to get rid of that telogen hair in order to give access to the new anagen hair. Okay, it is normal to shed hair. This is part of the hair growth cycle. It is normal to shed hair every single day. We're shedding hair. Okay, when it's abnormal, you'll know when it's abnormal. Okay, because you've been shedding hair every day for all your life, and all of a sudden you start shedding a lot more. So that's when we say it again, the hair is talking. There's something going on. So go look at, go seek a doctor, get some blood work, um, and get some guidance of what's going on. Okay. Okay, so this is a better shot of what I was talking about. So we have the follicle. This is the muscle attached to that follicle. This is the muscle that when we get scared or we get excited is when we say, oh, we got goosebumps, because the muscle retracts and the hair goes up in our bodies, right? And it also helps with the hair growth. Okay, this little muscle here. So catagen is when the hair starts to disconnect from the follicle, and the telogen is when it needs to shed. We need to get rid of the telogen hair. How do we get rid of telogen hair? Well, it happens on its own, but sometimes we have to help, okay, by brushing our hair every day, by washing our hair. I won't say every day, but that will be the ideal. But washing our hair and brushing our hair, it will help to get rid of the telogen hair, and using the right products as well. There's a lot of products that we've been using during many years that leaves built up around the follicular funnel, and at some point the buildup is such and is so hard that the telogen is attached to the residue and not to anything else. So we see that there is hair there, but it's not attached to anything, and it's actually blocking the new hair from growing healthy. All right. Maybe it's a lot more than what you wanted to learn about hair, but that's how it is. Now let's talk about we're going to talk about the men's hair loss. Okay, and it's usually hereditary. Okay, I'm sure you have heard about DHT. Now, there's a lot of products out there that says DHT blockers, right? So what happens is that testosterone gets kind of connected with an enzyme called alpha 5-alpha reductase, and those two, the testosterone and the 5-alpha reductase, get together. They like each other, and they produce what we called DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone. And dihydrotestosterone is the problem with hair loss among men. Not so much in women. we don't produce enough testosterone to have this dihydrotestosterone in our bodies. Okay, but in men, the dihydrotestosterone (DHT) is what creates hair loss, hereditary hair loss in men, because it is hereditary. Now, there is 4 distinct phases of on men hair loss, and it starts very early. When, again, let's make the distinction. This is when the male is predestined to have hair loss. Why? Because the mom's relative and the mom's father and the mom's family has baldness in her family, and also the father. There's a myth out there that hair loss comes only from the mother side. It's not. It is either mother side or father side. It is in their DNA. It's going to happen. They're predestined to have hair loss. So this is what would happen to an individual, a male individual that will lose his hair. It will start with dry dandruff, okay, and it will start at early age, and this stage would last about 10 to 12 years. There's no hair loss. They're too young to experience hair loss, but they do experience dry dandruff. After 10 to 12 years, it changes to oily dandruff. So now, like I said, the sebaceous glands start to work a little, and they're gonna start to have some hair loss, especially in the temple areas and a little bit on the crown. That's also, again, lasts 10 to 12 years. Then we have the seborrheic alopecia. Seborrheic alopecia, that's when you actually see the receding temple and the opening of the crown in the crown area. And then this one also lasts 10 to 12 years. And then we have the last one is the hypocritic baldness, and that is about 18 years. And that's when the half circle on top of their heads. You can see that in many cases. Now, what's happening today, or in a few years from now, is that this is happening more and more in a younger generation. The 10 to 12 years is actually getting maybe shortened, because I don't know if you have, but I've seen a lot of 20 and 18 years old that are already experiencing hair loss, and more than ever, I will say. And it might have to do with the way they eat. It might have to do with what they take in, maybe to gain muscle, or to some steroids to grow muscle that they take in, that might be affecting the hair loss, or making it faster. If they put in more testosterone in their bodies, then that might be the cause of the premature hair loss. Okay, but basically that is the 4 phases of hair loss among men. Okay. Can it be preventive? Well, if it's hereditary and it is part of their DNA, there's nothing anybody can do today to prevent that, to prevent them from losing their hair. There's nothing. If someone tells you, yes, I can prevent for you to not to lose your hair, run away. Okay, there is absolutely nothing. There's not a miracle shampoo or a miracle drug that will prevent hair loss when it's hereditary. All right, but what it can happen is that we can definitely delay the process. Okay, so the question to that individual is like, you want to be bald when you're 40 or you want to be bald when you're 60? Okay, unfortunately, they're doomed. They're going to lose their hair no matter what. But we can delay the process by taking the steps necessary not to lose it at 40. All right. So it could be kind of preventive, delayed. I would like to say that we can delay the process of baldness in those individuals. All right, so I want to show you what pityriasis simplex is. And pityriasis simplex is dry dandruff. That is the medical term. And this is how it would look like with the camera of 200 magnification. So it looks almost like a snowflakes. That's how I like to describe them. Okay, that's how it's gonna look. And then we have the second phase of the male pattern baldness. Remember the first phase was dry dandruff with this the um, pityriasis simplex, and then we have after 10 to 12 years it changes to estetoid pityriasis, which is oily dandruff. And this is how it would look like and under the microscope, under the camera. It shows a little bit of a film, a kind of a yellowish. Their scales are a little heavier than the dry dandruff. In the dry dandruff, you usually see it on their shoulders because they're flakes that can fly away. On this particular dandruff, the oily dandruff, they're heavy, and you could tell they're full of sebum, pretty much, oils, and the hair is kind of flat as well. Then we have the seborrheic alopecia. Seborrheic alopecia is it's a lot more sebum than just the dry dandruff. Now it's all over the hair, the scalp. The roots start to shrink and regrowth the cycle, and the growth cycle diminishes. Hair grows faster and faster, but it becomes more delicate and it's almost invisible to the when you put it on the microscope or on the camera. It shows like almost translucent. It's because it's weak, and the reason it grows faster and faster is because the follicle gets miniaturized, okay, with years, and it goes smaller and smaller. So the hair from when it starts to grow to when it comes to the surface of the scalp, it has no way to really develop and to make it strong. So if it goes to the Catagen stage faster, okay, and then it grows again until that little follicle diminishes to nothing. The earlier it starts, the more rapidly it progresses, and pretty much the future of the person's hair is decided between 16 and 25 years. This is another example of the miniaturization of the follicle. Okay, so testosterone gets together with the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, creates DHT. DHT attacks the follicle, and it goes from, this is the space, let's say, that the follicle, that the hair has in order to grow and to be a healthy, strong hair. All of a sudden it goes smaller. You can see the space between the surface of the scalp and the follicle. It's diminished, and of course you're going to see the hair grow faster because it's closer to the surface, and then of course it goes smaller and smaller until that follicle disappears. It dies. So when the follicle dies, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. But when the follicle is still alive, there is things that we can do. Take care of the scalp, take care of the of what you eat, and we can definitely have some prevention on the hair. Seborrheic alopecia. This is how seborrheic alopecia will look like. Excuse me. And you could tell right here, there is a lot of like a film, a white film. Sometimes it's a yellowish film of oils. And also it could be product. Okay, there's a lot of products in the market that has parabens and silicones, and they will harden on the scalp. They will make the hair look beautiful, but over time it's very hard to remove from the scalp, and it creates a layers of that residue on their scalp. And that's what I was telling you. Sometimes the collagen hair, it's not attached to the blood vessels or anything like that, because it's collagen. It needs to shed. But because of the products that we're using, and because of the excess sebum that hardens on top of the hair, on top of the scalp, the hair is still there, but it's not attached to the blood vessels, and it's actually in the way of new hair growing. All right, so let's talk about female hair loss. Okay, of course, it's a little bit more complicated than the male hair loss. Signs of hair loss in women obviously decrease the ponytail diameter. It happens with age. More hair than usual is in the shower and the pillow or in the brush. The hair on top of the head is shorter than the rest. The center part, our center part is bigger, it's widening. We have diffuse thinning. What happens is we have a hormonal imbalance. The androgen, the thyroid, the birth control, the pregnancy, premenopause, menopause, all those things will affect our hair. If we're taking any type of medication, the side effects on the medication. Stress. You got, who's not stressed right now, right? There is problems with depression. So if you're depressed, you might experience hair loss, and it becomes a vicious circle, right? So if you're depressed, you losing hair, you get more depressed, you get stressed. So that doesn't help. But that's what, again, what I said, the hair is talking. There is something more that is going on within us than just losing our hair. A fever, a migraine can affect us, and we can begin to lose hair because of that. The nutritional deficiencies also will create some hair loss. We are low in iron, zinc, copper, the essential fatty acids, vitamins, like aggressive diets. If we do diets that are not, they're taking the for example, the no fats diet or low fats diet, and we lose weight a lot faster, well, we're depleting the our body from the essential fatty acids that needs to nutrient the follicles, and we will experience hair loss. Any eating disorders, like for we have seen right now the people that had COVID, they might experience hair loss later on as well. It affects us. It affects our well-being inside. And also, you might not have COVID, but the stress of what's going on right now in the world, the stress that was going on right now in your environment, it could make you lose weight and shed more than normal. We're now going to see the effects of what happens on our body, okay, of the shock that we have. If we have, let's say we went through a bad divorce, or we had a death on the family, it shocks the body, it stresses the body, and we're not going to see the effects that happened, that particular event in our hair until 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months later. Okay, so something happened today, you will maybe experience some hair loss in the near future. Okay, all this could be preventable, and if you do experience some hair loss, don't panic, because again, the more you panic, the more you get stressed, the worse it gets. Okay, it will resolve itself, and using the right product and stimulating the follicles and doing the right things, and hopefully I can help you in this presentation, because I know for sure you know, if you're not going through it, I know that you know someone that might be going through it, and the idea is to tell them, hey, seek help, go to a doctor, get your blood work, and it might just be a period of time where it will get better on its own if you don't stress about it. Okay, but regardless, the idea is seek help. Check your balances, your iron, your zinc, your copper, your vitamin D is super important. um, Check all those. If you're going through premenopause or menopause, that can happen. Of course, also, if you are if childbirth, after a while, they will experience some hair loss, and again, it will also hopefully will correct itself. Okay, all right. Okay, so of course there's aging. There's the aging part that is part of growing old, that we're gonna lose hair. That's gonna happen, but we can prevent it. We can help. So more and more women are seeking help when they're in their 30th. So we all are thinking about our hair. Okay, every woman out there, well, there's some that had a full head of hair, but they still, if they have a full head of hair and they start shedding a lot more hair, they all worry. We all worried about our hair. Okay, our hair is it's so important to us. Um, so we all worried about it. Of course, our hair loss, like I said, is more complex than the men's hair loss. What triggers our hair loss? It could be obviously hereditary as well, just like men. But It could be a hormonal imbalance, a medical or nutrition imbalance, like I said before. It again, a shock or surgery. Any type of surgery that you have to have anesthesia, 6, 7, 8, 9 months after that, it is very possible that you will experience some hair loss. Okay. The disturbance of the hair cycle, damage to the hair shaft, disorder affecting the hair follicle. Okay. Okay, so we have female alopecia is similar to the male pattern baldness, with the difference that we are not gonna get we're not gonna go bald like they do, but we are gonna thin. We're gonna thin in the temples. The top of our head will be thinning. What triggers that? It would be hormonal changes, imbalances, menopause. So we're gonna lose, like I said, hair on the temples. It recedes backwards, and we're gonna. This is another myth maybe that I wanna tell you. Usually, when there is hair loss, there is oily scalp. Okay, but not necessarily. If you have oily scalp, you're gonna lose your hair. Okay, all right. So that's female alopecia. This one is hereditary. Okay, there's not much we can do about it. It runs in our DNA. However, we can prevent it to a certain degree, and we can delay it. Okay, if we catch it on time. Okay, if this lady comes see me and she just started losing her hair on that area, then there's a possibility that we can regrow her hair. If the follicle is still intact, we can do, with the right product and the right treatments, we can't reactivate that follicle to grow her hair again. All right. There is lasers right now, low light level lasers will help tremendously. With the right product and stimulating the follicles, it will happen. It's like a really good head massage. It helps. Okay. All right. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with this Ludwig scale. And but it's diffuse hair loss is also called telogen effluvium, and it's progressive or sudden thinning of the hair. The cells divisions has slowed down or stopped, shorten the anagen growth phase, and starts the miniaturization of the hair fibers. So I remember when I was doing consultations for hair club back in the day, long time ago, that I had clients, I had women. This is the time when women were starting to come to hair club. It used to be hair club for men, and of course now it's hair club for women. But at that time it was only hair club for men. But we started getting some women in the door, and these women had a full head of hair. Okay, maybe they were starting to lose their hair. Obviously, they came to see us because they were starting to lose their hair, and there was absolutely nothing I could do, you know. So inside, what I will say is like, no, you gotta go home, wait 3-4 years until you lose your hair, okay, and then we can put a hair on you and make it look natural and make it look good, and thank God that those things exist. Thank God for hair replacement. Thank God for the wigs, because there is a solution for hair loss. Okay, we can actually put a top of the head and cover the bald spot and make us feel better, and again, if we look good, we're gonna feel better. So thank God for that. But at that point, when a woman is in the early stages of diffuse hair loss and they come seeking for help, I had nothing to offer them. It really it broke my heart that I have nothing to offer. So when I learned about trichology and I went to the conferences, and I learned that there is hope and we can do something about it now. And I just jump all over it, and I love it. I hope I can inspire some people to learn more and to help others by this presentation. Um, so we have thyroid issues, very common. I know you've known. If you're not suffering from a thyroid problem, you know someone that is, because I am suffering from a thyroid problem. I started with hyperthyroidism in my 30th, and I have no idea what was happening in my body, but all of a sudden I started shaking. My hands were shaky, and I didn't know why. My heart will go on. I will be sitting here doing absolutely nothing, and all of a sudden my heart will go really fast and start pumping really fast. Um, People might think it is a panic attack, and it could be, or it could make it to be a panic attack when it's really not, just because the heart gets going. Is definitely the thyroid is overacting and is producing more hormones that we need. So my hair start falling. Of course, that's part of the side effects of a thyroid issue. And again, the hair is talking. Okay, the hair is shedding. Something is going on. So I sought help, and yes, it was a thyroid problem. My thyroid was overactive, and well, the only side effect that you're supposed to get with hyperactivity of the thyroid is that you also would lose weight. That's the only side effect that I did not get. Um, but anyway, all of them I got. I had to go through a procedure where they actually had to kill the thyroid, and now I'm taking hormones. I've been taking hormones for the rest of my life, because now my thyroid is hypoactive. It's not producing hormones because it was killed with radiation. Um, so that can happen. The thyroid goes out of whack. Again, your body is in a shock. It doesn't know what's going on. You need to balance the TSH and the T3 and T4, and it will come back to normal, and your hair will continue to grow. And if you lost some hair, there is a big possibility that it will be regrowth once you balance what's going on in your body. Okay. Female pattern hair loss, genetic thinning. It's hereditary from both parents. Thinning of hair on the front and top areas of the scalp. This does not lead to baldness like in men. What triggers, again, menopause, the hysterectomy, the oral contraceptives, heart problems after pregnancy. Extreme stress can trigger genetic thinning, and obviously in those women that are that have the predisposition to lose their hair. Diffuse. This is what I was telling you about, that the hair looks somehow translucent. Okay, it's so weak and so thin that it's very, very weak, and that's how it looks like. It could be also a gray hair. Then we have what we call profuse female alopecia. Profuse hair loss happens really fast. The woman loses 40% of their hair density. It is hereditary, and in this case, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. There is nothing we can do about it. They could lose their hair from 10 months to 10 years. This is rare. It doesn't happen a lot, but it is out there. And again, the best thing for women that are suffering from profuse female alopecia is a wig. So thank God for wigs. We can help women with this disorder, and by providing a beautiful wig, either synthetic or human hair. This is an example of a woman that has profuse hair loss. They will never go bald, but their hair is so thin that they need to to cover it with a beautiful either synthetic or human hair wig. All right, so there is something else that we call alopecia areata. It's a localized hair loss. It could happen to men, it could happen to women. And this one is an autoimmune disease, okay? Our own body fights with the cells in the follicles, because our body's thinking that they are intruders, and they just want to fight the follicles, and they stop the cells divisions in the follicles, so there is no hair, there is no dead cells, and there's no new ones creating and pushing the hair to grow. So, and it just happened in one area, and it moves. Sometimes it happens in one, in the side, and then it moves to the back, it moves to the front. The follicle is not dead, so that's why the hair will regrow, and then it moves. But it is an autoimmune disease. It could happen to anybody at any given time. It would, if we have it in our body, physical and emotional trauma or an infection might trigger it, and that will happen. Like I said, it regrows after several years, but it can develop to another area. Okay. This is how alopecia areata would look like. So it's localized. This is a pretty severe one, because usually it's only one spot, and sometimes it starts with a little spot like that, and then it grows, and then it grows, and it would last, for years, and all of a sudden hair will grow back, and then it will move over here. Hairless plaques that appears in the zone that normally has hair. They're round or oval. They're smooth. They could be sometimes red or scaly. Usually when someone suffers from alopecia areata, they also might be suffering from psoriasis. They go hand in hand, and vice versa. If someone is suffering from psoriasis, they might develop some alopecia areata. So alopecia areata, it could be caused by chronic stress, sudden shock or trauma, some medication, a viral infection, pregnancy, hormone changes, an allergic reaction, Or it could be genetics. It could absolutely be genetics. So also with alopecia areata, yes, there's some product and there's some treatments that we can do to see if we can reactivate that follicle. But this is something that it will um, fix itself. The body will stop reacting to the follicle at some point, believing that they are attacking our body, and they relax. The follicle is not dead. The follicle is intact, and once we stop fighting it, then the hair will grow again. Okay, so there's ways, some products, our products. The best thing to do is to use obviously natural products, and that's what we have. That's what we use. We have the Capilia products. They're from Canada, and the active ingredients of these products are 100% natural products. So no matter what, even if you have hair loss or you don't have hair loss, or you're experiencing some problem or scalp problem, I will definitely recommend the Capilia products other than any other products in the market right now. I've seen them work, and I use them myself, and I absolutely love the product. This is another case of alopecia areata. You can see the inflammation also on the skin, redness, and it's a little bit elevated, the skin a little bit elevated because it's inflamed. Just another example of what alopecia areata would look like. Of course, what are you going to do for a client or for a patient that has this problem? They might be okay with it, they might learn how to live with it. I have gone to the National Alopecia Areata conferences, and I've seen kids running around with this problem, and there's a lot of them, and they're okay. Some of them are okay. They have learned how to cope with their hair issue, and they're fine. And I am so proud of them because they don't really care about what other people think. They love the way they are. They love the way they look, and that's fine. Um, when I went to those conferences for many years, and when I realized and when I learned is that the parents were the ones that were not okay with it. All right, the parents were the ones that wanted to cover their head with a wig. Um, and I understand that too, but the kids were fine. It were the parents. And so once that happens, they grew up with that insecurity. They grew up with the insecurity of, it's like, oh my God, I don't have hair, I need to cover it. And again, thank God for wigs. Thank God for what we can do to help them, because we can. And we have, the reason I went there is because we have children wigs as well as the adult wigs, and we have the synthetics and the human hair and the European hair. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful wigs, and they were, some of them wanted them so much, and some of them they really didn't care. All right, let's talk about cranial radiation and chemotherapy. So, of course, this is something that you are very familiar with, because that's what you most familiar with. You deal with a lot of chemotherapy patients in your boutiques, in your mastectomy boutiques. So when we started coming to the Essentially Women show or conferences, it was to provide some of you with an alternative to help women Okay, so you're not only doing mastectomies, you're not only selling the bras, but you could also add wigs to your business. And why not? You know, if you can create a little space and maybe a little private space just for which you have because you do mastectomies and you do fittings, you have to have a private space. It's the same thing. Okay, you're gonna have a private space for them to fit a wig. Um, you only have to have 3 or 4 in display. That way that way the patients know that you offer that product and you offer the service. Um, Later on in my presentation, I'm going to give you our website for our medical wigs and the Gemtress line and the Tresolor line. You could open an account with us and just do it that way. You don't have to carry inventory. We have the inventory. So, but give us a call, and we'll guide you in how to do it. Chemotherapy. There is a beautiful product right now that is also part of the Trichology program. Okay, that helps the scalp while they're going through chemo. Okay, so we know what chemotherapy is. It will affect every cell of our body. The chemotherapy is trying to kill the cells that went abnormal, that created the cancer. But there is obviously, let me just go there now. This is the cells division. Some cells decided to grow and went, and the other side they went radical on us, and they created abnormal cells, and they are growing more rapidly than the normal cells, and that's what creates the cancer. And what happens with the chemo enters in our blood work, in our blood system, and it's attacking the radical cells, the abnormal cells, but as a collateral damage, it also unfortunately kills other cells, and it affects other parts of our bodies. And the part that affects the most, because what I said to you before, the little organ that is the follicles are very sensitive, and they are directly right there on the blood vessel. So as soon as the chemo enters our blood flow, it goes to the follicle, and the follicle becomes dormant. It doesn't die, it just doesn't reproduce anymore. So the hair falls and it starts shedding, and in some cases it sheds everything, and some cases it doesn't, a little bit. So but the problem here, okay, and what happens is, like, doctors and nurses, they don't really tell you how to take care of the scalp. They don't really tell you how to take care of the skin. And because we had hair covering our scalp for many, many years, and all of a sudden it's a sudden shock, we don't have any more hair, that area now is exposed. And it's exposed, and it's never been exposed before. Our hair was protecting that area, and now it's exposed. So it becomes really sensitive, okay? It becomes dry, it becomes itchy, it hurts. So what we need to do, we need to make sure that we take care of the scalp. We need to hydrate that area. We need to make sure that the scalp doesn't lose, or the skin on the scalp doesn't lose the sensitivity and the not the sensitivity, the elasticity of our skin, okay? Because that's what happens. If we don't take care of it and we don't moisturize it and we don't take care of the skin there, the skin loses the elasticity. And when the hair is ready to grow, it has a hard time growing through that tightness. Okay, there is also the sebaceous glands are not working again, so to create that lubricant for the hair to grow. So we need to give the skin on the scalp the hydration that is not getting. Okay, and that's when we have the well-being care kit from Capilia. Is called Therapomedic, which is the same brand, but this one is the brand in Canada. And this is a beautiful and must-have product in your boutiques, especially if you are already selling wigs. What I would recommend is to sell a wig and add this kit as a value, as to how to take care of the scalp. You can wear the wig, but make sure that you take care of the scalp as well with this product. It's free of sulfates, parabens, silicones. It doesn't have a fragrance either, or dyes. Okay, it hydrates and promotes vitality of the hair during and after the radiotherapy treatments. It has 4 products in it. It has 2 shampoos and two serums. So you're gonna alternate. You're gonna use one first to hydrate the scalp while you're going through chemo, while the patient is going through chemo. They're gonna start using one shampoo and one of the serums to take care of the scalp. And once they're done with their chemo and the hair will start to grow, then you're gonna alternate both one shampoo and the other shampoo, and use the 2 serums as well. It will promote the hair to grow faster, and if you have taken care of the scalp while you're going through chemo, you have a lot better chances that your hair will grow with the same texture that you had before, not changing of the texture, because again you put the moisture and you took care of the scalp and hydrated the scalp. So the hair, when it's ready to grow, it has an easier path to grow the way it used to be. These are our websites: gemtress.com, tressolore.com. Check them out. Those are our wigs, and I will definitely recommend you bring wigs to your business. You want to help women. This is why you started your business to begin with, and you want to bring another source of revenue. Okay, so this is our phone number, the 800-327-5555. Give us a call. I'm used to seeing you and being in our booth with our wigs, but this is the best alternative, and I thank the EW, all of the women that are behind this virtual conference. Wonderful, and hopefully you learned something today with my presentation, and give me a call if you need more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla, for that presentation, and thank you for everybody who attended. If you have any questions, reach out to Carla. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Kayla. Bye-bye.